We all have them, Leo. Those moments when we feel broken. A failed exam, a job rejection, or a heart that's been hurt. We try so hard to hide our cracks, thinking they make us less than.
Yeah, it's like we're ashamed of our struggles. We want everything to look perfect on the outside.
Exactly. But what if I told you that your cracks are actually your strengths? What if your scars are the most beautiful part of your story?
That sounds like a dream, Clara. Is that even possible?
It is. In Japan, they've known this secret for centuries. It's called Kintsugi. Welcome to the English Edutainment Podcast. I'm Clara, and today we're going to learn how to turn your scars into gold, literally and metaphorically. I can't wait to hear how this works. But before Clara reveals the secret of the shogun, don't forget to subscribe. We share stories like this every week to help you master English and build a stronger mindset. You definitely want to be part of this. Well said, Leo. Now let's go back 500 years to the palace of a Japanese shogun who hated his broken tea bowl. Our story begins in the late 15th century, in the heart of Kyoto, Japan. At that time, a very powerful man named Ashikaga Yoshimitsu was having a tea ceremony. Now, Leo, you have to understand, for a shogun, a tea ceremony wasn't just about drinking tea. It was a ritual of peace, power, and perfection.
So I'm guessing he had the most expensive tea bowls in the world?
Exactly. But among all his treasures, there was one bowl he loved more than anything. It was simple, elegant, and ancient. One day, during a ceremony, the unthinkable happened. The bowl slipped from his hands and shattered on the wooden floor.
Ouch! I can imagine the silence in the room. What did he do? Did he execute the person who made him drop it?
No, he was actually heartbroken. He loved that bowl so much that he couldn't just throw it away. So he decided to send it back to China to be repaired by the best craftsmen of that time.
Well, that sounds like a smart move. If anyone could fix it, they could, right?
That's what he thought. Months passed. Finally, a heavy wooden box arrived at the palace. The shogun opened it with high hopes. But when he saw the bowl, his face turned red with anger. The Chinese craftsman had used ugly metal staples to hold the pieces together. It looked like a wounded soldier covered in stitches. It was functional, but the beauty was gone.
So it was like a Frankenstein bowl? That must have looked terrible.
It did. It was a disaster. But instead of giving up, Yoshimitsu challenged his own Japanese craftsmen. He told them, "Find a way to fix this that doesn't hide the damage, but honors the bowl." And this, Leo, is where the magic happened. These craftsmen didn't see the cracks as a problem. They saw them as lines of history.
So they didn't use staples this time?
No, they used something revolutionary. They took urushi, a natural Japanese lacquer, and mixed it with pure powdered gold. They carefully filled every single crack with this golden glue. When the lacquer dried, they polished it until it sparkled.
Oh, wait. So instead of a thin, invisible line, they made the cracks bright and shiny? Like golden veins?
Exactly. When they presented the bowl back to the shogun, the room went silent again. But this time, it was out of pure awe. The bowl was no longer just a repaired object. It had become a masterpiece. The golden scars told a story of a journey, from being perfect to being broken to becoming something even more valuable than it was at the beginning. This was the birth of Kintsugi.
That's incredible, Clara! So the gold actually made it more expensive and more beautiful because it survived the break?
Precisely. And that's the lesson we often forget in our modern world. We are so obsessed with being flawless that we forget that our history, including our failures, is what makes us unique. You know, Leo, Kintsugi isn't really about the bowl. It's a metaphor for the human soul. Think about it. We spend our whole lives trying to look perfect on Instagram and our jobs. Even when we speak English, we are terrified of making a single mistake.
That's so true. I mean, if I'm talking to a native speaker and I use the wrong tense, I feel broken in a way. I just want to stop talking and hide. It's like I'm a failure.
Exactly. We think our mistakes are ugly staples that ruin our image. But Kintsugi teaches us the concept of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection. In life, we all experience breaks. Maybe it's failing a big exam, losing a dream job, or going through a painful heartbreak. We feel like we've lost our value, but that's a lie.
So how do we apply the gold to our lives? We can't literally pour gold on our problems, right? I mean, how do I fix a broken heart or a failed interview with gold?
The gold is your resilience, Leo. It's the lesson you learn from the pain. When you fail an English interview, the gold is the new vocabulary you study because of that failure. The gold is the courage you found to try again. When you fix your life with that kind of mindset, you aren't just back to normal. You are an upgraded, stronger version of yourself. I like that. So my scars aren't something to be ashamed of? They are like my experience marks? My personal history written in gold? Precisely. Imagine two people, Leo. One has never failed, never struggled, and everything was easy. The other has failed 10 times, lost everything, but built themselves back up. Who has a more interesting story? Who would you rather listen to for an hour? The second person, definitely. They have more golden veins in their history. Their story has depth. That's the secret, Leo. Kintsugi tells us your scars are not your weakness. They are your history. Every time you fall and get back up, you are adding gold to your character. You become more unique, more resilient, and honestly, much more beautiful than someone who has never been broken. Think of your mistakes as the most expensive part of who you are.
Wow, that really changes how I look at my past. I used to see mistakes as black marks on my record, but now I can see them as golden lines that make my story shine.
And that's the mindset we want our listeners to have. Don't hide your cracks. Don't be afraid to speak English because you might make a mistake. Those mistakes are not the end. They are your path to becoming a masterpiece. Every oops is just a place to put more gold.
Okay, Clara, that story was deep, but I noticed you used some really fancy words. I want to use them too, but I need to make sure I understand them perfectly. I don't want to just listen. I want to speak like this.
I love that, Leo. Using powerful vocabulary is like adding gold to your English. It makes your conversation shine. Let's break down 5 key expressions from today's episode. Listen carefully, everyone.
The first one was resilience. It sounds strong, but what does it actually mean in daily life? How do I use it at work or with friends?
Great question. Resilience. Repeat after me, Leo. Res-il-yence. It's your ability to bounce back after something bad happens. Think of a rubber band. You stretch it, you pull it, but it goes back to its shape. That's resilience. For example, if you fail a test but start studying the next day with more energy, that is resilience.
Ah, I see. So it's not about never falling, it's about how fast you get up. I like that word. Resilience. Got it. And what about masterpiece? I usually hear this in museums when people look at old paintings.
Exactly. A masterpiece is a work of outstanding skill. But in our podcast, we use it for people. When you take your broken pieces and fix them with gold, you become a masterpiece. Example, this project isn't just good, it's a masterpiece of hard work and creativity.
Now, this one is interesting. To celebrate scars. Usually people hide scars, Clara. We use makeup or filters. Why celebrate them?
Because, Leo, in English, to celebrate something means to show that it is important and great. When we say celebrate your scars, we mean be proud of your struggles. They are proof that you are a survivor. Example, instead of being ashamed of my mistakes, I choose to celebrate my scars because they taught me everything I know.
I also heard you say we are obsessed with being flawless. Is that like being perfect?
Precisely. Flawless means without any mistakes, marks, or cracks. Flaw is a mistake, and less means without. But remember, Leo, a diamond can be flawless, but a human is much more interesting with a few flaws.
And the last one, to shine. Is it just for the sun and gold?
Technically, yes, but metaphorically, it means to be very bright or successful. When the craftsman used gold, the cracks started to shine. Example, when you speak English with confidence, you really shine.
Wait, Clara, before we finish, let's see if our listeners were paying attention. I have a challenge for them.
Go ahead, Leo. Let's challenge them. I'm sure they are ready.
If someone loses their job, but uses that time to learn a new skill and starts a better company, what word describes that person? Is it flawless or resilient?
That's a great question. Leave your answer in the comments. And here's another one. Try to use the word masterpiece in a sentence about someone you admire. We will read your comments and reply to every single one. As we end today's journey, I want you to take a deep breath. Look at your life not as a series of mistakes, but as a beautiful work of art in progress. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to be valuable. Your cracks don't decrease your worth. They define your unique beauty.
I'm definitely going to look at my old coffee mugs and my old mistakes differently now, Clara. Thank you for this story. It really opened my eyes.
Thank you for being here, Leo. And to you, our wonderful listener, thank you for giving us your time. Before you go, we have a question of the day for you. Have you ever had a broken moment that actually made you stronger later?
We really want to hear your stories. Share them with us in the comments and try to use our word of the day, resilience. It's the best way to practice.
We'll be reading every single one. Stay brave, stay golden, and we'll see you in the next story.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.